Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. My name is Greg Phelps. Joining me once again is dementia care expert Teepa Snow. And Teepa, it's been a rough day. You know, can you do Joe in 212 and Sam in 217? I got tied up with Alex in the shower and he was pretty right. But I think I'm also on the board for doing the feeder table just as soon as I get done here. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now it's interesting.
I can tell you work in a facility. Number one, and
you can't see yourself, Teepa, but you should have seen your face because you've obviously heard this before.
I have heard this before. I mean, this is unfortunately for me. It's like, oh yeah, I just heard that conversation just 3 days ago when I was in a community. Yeah, and it's the kind of language. It's like, oh wow, I was so hoping we'd move past this, but it's like at least you did use their first names. But boy, oh boy, beyond that, sounds like you're not real invested in our relationship any more than you're invested in a relationship with the people you're serving. You're just trying to get things done and get things covered and see where you're assigned. And the feeder table, which is like,
one of those not too long ago.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was in a place that was still using the horseshoe table. I thought those were gone. No. Some of them are back.
So how do we get people away from task oriented? And I get it because like me, I like to be efficient. And the idea of a feeder table seems like a great idea.
Yeah, it did too back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Back then, we did that. Yeah, we thought it was a great idea. When they came out, those horseshoe tables, everyone was excited because you have one person in the middle and everybody around the edge, bite. And we decided, yeah, that actually is, number one, unsanitary. Number two, not beneficial to the people you're serving. I mean, that is not a good model for allowing someone to provide themselves nourishment and hydration or support them doing that. I mean, it's basically,
I've seen a couple of articles
from a feeding tube, but not much. I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
I've seen a couple of articles recently about robots entering into the medical system, where they'll have robots perhaps serving the trays, et cetera, et cetera.
I watched that in an airport on my way back from from Poland. And it was like, unfortunately, the maitre d' had to follow the robot around to make sure it actually got where it was supposed to and had the right food on it. So I'm like, I guess that's an improvement. I'm not sure. And then the guest had to get the tray off the robot and put it on the table.
That just sounds like a cart to me.
Yeah, but it could figure out how to go to table 7, sort of. Except it went all around the place to get to table 7. And you can see, I watched whatever it was, the coordinator, watching and looking really puzzled. Where were they going? Which is why he kept following it. It's like, what the heck is going on? And it turned out what was going on was that it was going around a long way to get to the table, but it did eventually get there. And then the people were like, are we supposed to take the tray off, or is it going to serve us? It's like, no, you have to take tray off. And they're like, oh, okay, can I have ketchup? And it's like, oops, okay. Yeah, I'll bring that for you. Because I think he figured out by the time he had the robot do it, it'd just be easier for him to do it. So
see the potential for a comedy routine there, Teepa. You're gonna.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Well, but if we're robotic in our care, what's the difference between a robot having to try to figure out how, okay, so I brought a towel, I got his underwear, I got his shirt, I got his pants, but I forgot his socks and shoes. What do I do? Leave him in the shower area and go down the hall and go get them, or have him come back with me, but then I have this other guy, that I'm supposed to be with. So should I ask Should I ask Greg to take care of that for me? Because that sort of being so task focused that I'm not even team focused. What about if at the start of the shift, we looked at each other and said, so we have several people who are it's their day for showering. Typically, the one person you mentioned has a lot of challenges. I'm wondering if there's a way we can redistribute responsibilities today so that we can get everybody's needs met, and not feel so stressed out. Can we look at that?
So if you were to eliminate one word from sort of the care vocabulary, I think do might be up near the top of your list, depending on the context.
I was going to say do this, do that. The other one I would eliminate is feeder. I mean, that's my other least favorite word because it diminishes the human who is consuming to nothing but a status of I put it in and you take it down, a kind of thing, or not. But doing things to people, doing things for people. But I mean, I'm good with doing things with people, with my teammates, with someone living with my families, but working through things so we get to a place of appreciating each other and acknowledging each other. But what I see missing is this robotic way of thinking about tasks and what has to be done, and not really checking in and evaluating how's it going. Greg sounds pretty stressed out. I'm wondering if there's something, and that means my partners aren't really looking at me either and going, hey, Greg, sounds like you're really feeling pretty stressed with trying to do the shower. Is there someone I can help and support while you're doing what you need to do?
Turns out that personal care is actually a little more complicated than some people actually think or do.
Yeah. If you're going to do it well and you're going to give it meaning, and it's my opportunity to care for myself with your support. And if you take that away from me, take away some of my personhood, my agency, my ability to do the things I still can do by you acknowledging it's not an all or none done thing. It really is you figuring out where the spaces and places are I need support, and only offering support in those places and spaces. You don't need to take over my life for me. It's still my life. But it would surely help for you to be there at the right moment in the right way. And maybe that's why the shower took so long, was because you were trying to take over and they were having none of it.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. For more information on today's subject or any other information, go to teepasnow.com.